Don't die on the hill. It's the opposite.
Don't die on the hill.
Don't die on the hill, no. Because you retreated from the hill. You didn't die
on the hill. No, I ran, because I decided I'm not gonna internet bully you. God, you just knock everything around. What? Look how much you put on the suspension of the chair, man, with your fat ass.
It's just the chair level. That's all it is. Just trying to make it higher so I could do my casual sitting pose.
Right. Casual. That's what that is.
It is not casual. I hate sitting because it's like the bar is blocking me from like sitting.
Why don't you just come at it at an angle or a correct angle?
This is the angle.
Why?
Like, at least I don't have to like. I have freedom of leg movement.
Why do you insist on just being so leaned back in the chair?
Because I like having leg. It's really just leg movement. This is just a reaction of like.
Well, put your legs underneath the table.
No, because then I extend them in like bar. There's a bar there. It ruins the entire structure of my sitting posture.
Do whatever you want.
I will. Which is why I'm sitting as so.
Connor.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want, as long as what you want is the 2 Penny Gamescast. That's right. What's poppin', players? Welcome back to Penny Gamescast, episode 31. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host, Connor Elliott. Say hi to the people, Connor.
Hey, guys.
And, ladies and gentlemen, this show comes to you every week at Monday, 8 a.m., and what we do, basically, is we bring you the new news in the video game industry, the things you need to know. We bring each 2 topics, 2 pennies, if you will, and give you our 2 cents on them.
Because everyone wants to hear what we have to say.
Yeah, it's very fucking important, don't you know?
Yeah.
Don't you know? Now, this week, Connor, there's quite a bit of news.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of news.
Some of which we're not even going to talk about.
We're not even going to talk about
the Blizzard event, the...
Who gives a fuck about Blizzard?
Overwatch 2.
Free Hong Kong.
That was what was spamming in the chat, if you didn't know that. Everyone was just like doing that the entire time.
I was not in the chat because they don't, I
didn't watch it.
Your time and your eyes is currency, and I'm giving them neither.
No, you're not.
So, Free Hong Kong. All that good. There was a Nintendo Direct, which was fine. It was fine.
Yeah, Pyra and Mithra for Smash Bros.
Cool.
I mean, that is cool.
Cool.
That is cool.
Free-to-play, overhyped Star Wars game, I guess.
What? I didn't
Something
even
mobile.
that.
It's some Star Wars game made by a mobile developer that is coming to the Switch. I don't know. I'm not caring.
Splatoon 3 a year from now.
Okay, cool. Someone likes Splatoon.
The coolest thing about the Direct was the Ninja Gaiden. Well, actually, the Smash Bros. Stuff, but the Ninja Gaiden collection.
See, I don't even think the Smash Bros. Stuff was that cool.
Well, I like Pirate and Mithra, so that explains it. Not even that crazy about it.
A couple of remasters and re-releases of old
Skyward
games.
Sword. Not
Skyward
even that old,
Sword, okay, cool. Yeah. You didn't have anything else planned for Zelda's 35th anniversary? You gave us Skyward Sword?
Yeah, one of the
Where's fucking Ocarina? Where's fucking Twilight Princess?
If it was Twilight Princess, I'd be really excited.
I would be excited as well.
But Skyward Sword, a game that wasn't even that well received by Zelda fans when it was first released. I mean,
yeah. So overall, just kind of a meh thing. Mm-hmm. But Connor, we're not talking about that too in depth today.
No,
we in fact are going to jump into our first penny, my first penny of the day, and we are going to talk about this. What the fuck did I just put? Did I fuck something up? I don't think I did. I hope not. All right, there we go. I think we're good to go. All right. We're going to talk about this Mortal Kombat movie trailer.
Yes.
New video game. Can you see this? I've got the trailer pulled up so that we kind of
point out things,
and that we can talk about it if something pops up. No, but Connor, a new Mortal Kombat movie is set to release when?
2020?
21?
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, 2021. Set to release this year.
We kind of know we knew it was coming for a while. This is just the first trailer.
Yeah, it was kind of on the back end, just kind of listening. But Mortal Kombat, a storied video game franchise and a storied video game movie adaptation franchise. Some say that first Mortal Kombat movie is the best video game movie ever made. Whatever.
Funny enough, made by the person who would go on to make the Resident Evil movies, which we did not. We saw recently. We're not.
Yeah, we've recently rewatched them. I don't know why. Don't ask us why. Yeah. And they're worse than we remember.
Oh yes, they are.
They're so bad. But This trailer, Connor, it's pretty dope.
Yeah, you and our buddy Phil liked it. I wasn't that crazy about it because it seemed like it's, at the end of the day, even though it had cool visuals, the visuals are definitely cool. A lot of the things people were talking about was, it's not going on in the trailer right now, but the blood dagger that people were going crazy about.
This guy's got a fucking, he's got a fucking knife attached to a rope and he's killing motherfuckers. Scorpion. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, is that Scorpion? Oh, it is
Yeah.
Scorpion.
Yeah, it is
Oh,
Scorpion.
but before he dies, that's cool.
Yeah. He did have he was alive at one point. But
At one point, yeah.
you know, then you also have things though like the Kano eye laser that we just saw on screen, where
Some of the CG
terrible.
looks terrible, but a lot of it looks fine enough.
Most of it looks good.
Fine.
Yeah. My issue is that it seems like, I mean, trailers aren't really a good identifier of what a movie is going to be like, but
I mean, it should pitch you on what it is.
It should, and it did
And
focus on the fighting.
Yeah, this is telling me we're just gonna have some cool fights. We're gonna fight.
Yeah, it just
so cool.
seems like I'm afraid that everything else is going to be centered around stupid stuff.
What do you mean?
Stupid, like, well, you know what they usually do with this kind of stuff? They make it seem like trailers like this, like it's going to be about fighting.
Look at that, the blood dagger's
Yeah,
so cool.
It's going to be about a tournament, the Mortal Kombat tournament, two characters going at one another fighting.
Yes.
But I'm afraid it's just going to devolve into everything else but that. Except it's going to be a movie about, you know, characters dealing with otherworldly bullshit going on, trying to defend their world, with occasional fights splintered in.
I feel like you're pulling this out of nowhere. There is nothing in this trailer that should give you that feeling.
It was just the way everything was presented made it seem like there's stuff that they're not showing us in that trailer that is going to compromise a lot of the movie.
Well, none of the story is in the trailer, but I don't imagine there's a lot of story in this movie.
I hope not.
Like,
I really, really hope not.
I really don't know where you're pulling this from. Yeah. Like it seems very clear to me that this is all about just making a fun, crazy action movie. If this is just like John Wick, but like with the skin of Mortal Kombat, I'm in. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't need to be anything more. Like, you know.
No, it does not need to be. It just, hopefully that's what it ends up actually being. Cool.
I'm not a fighting game fan. You're becoming a fighting game fan.
Yeah, I'm on the path to that.
My probably biggest experience with traditional fighting games is Mortal Kombat. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I always thought it was cool. It's fun, whatever. But
I mean, that was my first fighting game as well.
Yeah, it's just never really been my cup of tea. But so I'm not huge into the world of Mortal Kombat. You're not either, right?
Not at all. No.
Okay.
And the thing about fighting games is that story and characters are so bad usually. I mean, Mortal Kombat seems to try harder.
People have liked the last few games.
Yeah, people seem to like those more than most.
Yeah,
but you know, it's never been the highlight. Obviously, it's just the cool animations that the characters can do.
This is, which you're right. It's probably unless we just don't know the character. It's probably Scorpion, but this is probably like his quick little origin story that we have just to have that cool fight scene.
Yeah, well, his clan does get attacked by Sub-Zero's clan.
Yeah, it's probably just whatever justification they need narratively to have a cool fight scene.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, I don't know where you're pulling all this nonsense from, but. And then we get Jax's cool little origin, which is just so that we can have that cool shot of him shooting the shotgun and then the buckshot freezing as it approaches Sub-Zero's face. It's everything just looks to me. It's just like, okay, how can we get to the next scene, and how can we make it just as cool as possible, and what can we do creatively to give it this Mortal Kombat flair that the games have, and. You know, sure, I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, looks like some fun action. And it's not until this moment here at the end where Sub-Zero slices Scorpion, blood flies out, he grabs it, freezes it, and then stabs him with this blood knife. Like, that shit is dope as fuck. I want to see that. I don't care about anything else. I just want to see shit like that for an hour and a half.
If it's a bunch of stuff like that continuously throughout the film, it could be really cool. You know, because you also have to nail down the fight scenes. They can't just be, you know, cookie cutter bullshit stuff.
And none of it looks cookie cutter.
No, it does not.
So
a lot of fatalities, I'm assuming we'll be seeing. A lot of brutal gore.
You know, who says it? Who says fatality? Someone's got to say it at some point.
Probably what Shao Kahn, like the guy who may oversee it or whatever. Yeah.
So, anyways, Mortal Kombat trailer. I liked it. I think it looks cool.
Do we have an official release date? Or
I think it's just 2021 general. But I liked it. I mean, you know. Mm-hmm. I'll go see that. I want to see that. So, you know, sure, why not? Is this going to be like, oh, video game movies are great now? No.
Well, no. I mean,
but, you know, might be cool.
The net worth of good video game movies has to increase, even if this is a good movie. It has to have some kind of advancement in that field.
You know, and I'm more interested in terms of gripping narratives and shit from what the HBO Last of Us is doing than this. So. all in time, Connor. All in good time. But yeah, I want to watch that movie. I want to go to the theaters and watch that shit. So I'm excited about that.
Good time.
But until then, Connor, let's talk about some hard work that some of these scholars are doing.
Yeah, scholars.
You know,
very, very scholarly people.
So,
people that don't do podcasts, that actually do studies.
No, they do the real work, and then guys like us just kind of talk about it. So, second penny, your first penny of the day, Connor. We're going to jump into Science Daily, which just posted, what do you call this, an article, a journal?
It's an article because it's explaining a study that was done.
All right, so boys who play video games have lower depression risk. So boys who regularly play video games at age 11 are less likely to develop depressive symptoms 3 years later, finds a new study led by a UCL researcher. And just so everybody knows, there's going to be a lot of reading here because there's a lot of really interesting information.
Yes.
The study, published in Psychological Medicine, also found that girls who spend more time on social media appear to develop more depressive symptoms. No one's shocked there. Taken together, the findings demonstrate how different types of screen time can positively or negatively influence young people's mental health and may also impact boys and girls differently. Lead author, PhD student Aaron Condola said, quote, "Screens allow us to engage in a wide range of activities. Guidelines and recommendations about screen time should be based on our understanding of how these different activities might influence mental health and whether that influence is meaningful. While we cannot confirm whether playing video games actually improves mental health, it didn't appear harmful in our study and may have some benefits. Particularly during the pandemic, video games have been an important social platform for young people. We need to reduce how much time children and adults spend sitting down for their physical and mental health, but that doesn't mean screen use is inherently harmful." Condola has previously led studies finding that sedentary behavior, sitting still, appeared to increase the risk of depression and anxiety in adolescents. To gain more insight into what drives that relationship, he and colleagues chose to investigate screen time as it is responsible for much of sedentary behavior in adolescents. Other studies have found mixed results, and many did not differentiate between different types of screen time, compare between genders, or follow such a large group of young people over multiple years. The research team from UCL Karolinska
Swedish Institute is basically what it is.
And the Baker Heart and Diabetes Institute from Sweden and Australia, respectively, reviewed data from 11,341 adolescents who are part of the Millennium Cohort Study, a nationally representative sample of young people who have been involved in research since they were born in the UK in 2000 to 2002. The study participants had all answered questions about their time spent on social media, playing video games, or using the internet at age 11, and also answered questions about depressive symptoms such as low mood, loss of pleasure, and poor concentration at age 14. The clinical questionnaire measures depressive symptoms and their severity on a spectrum rather than providing a clinical diagnosis. In the analysis, the research team accounted for other factors that might have explained the results, such as socioeconomic status, physical activity levels, reports of bullying, and prior emotional symptoms. The researchers found that boys who played video games most days had 24% fewer depressive symptoms 3 years later than boys who played video games less than once a month, although this effect was only significant among boys with low physical activity levels and was not found among girls. The researchers say this might suggest that less active boys could derive more enjoyment and social interaction from video games. While their study cannot confirm if the relationship is causal, the researchers say that there are some positive aspects of video games which could support mental health, such as problem solving and social cooperative and engaging elements. There may also be other explanations for the link between video games and depression, such as differences in social contact or parenting styles, which the researchers did not have data for. They also did not have data on hours of screen time per day, so they cannot confirm whether multiple hours of screen time each day could impact depression risks. And then I'm going to skip down a little bit to hear from a quote. Senior author Dr. Mats Hallgren has conducted other studies in adults finding that mentally active types of screen time, such as playing video games or working at a computer, might not affect depression risk in the way that more passive forms of screen time appear to do. He said, quote, "The relationship between screen time and mental health is complex, and we still need more research to help understand it. Any initiatives to reduce young people's screen time should be targeted and nuanced. Our research points to possible benefits of screen time. However, we should still encourage young people to be physically active and to break up extended periods of sitting with light physical activity." So, I don't think this is too surprising to anyone, maybe? I mean, maybe just because we're so deep in video game culture that maybe it doesn't sound like news to us, but...
Yeah. We play video games. We've played video games since, man, a long
I always
time.
have.
I always have as well.
So the basic gist of this is, as long as you stay active, as long as you're not wasting a whole bunch of time sitting down or not, putting your muscles to work, screens are not inherently bad for you. Specifically video games, because they're a more active screen time than, say, watching TV or
browsing social media.
Which
obviously has found to actually negatively affect girls who spend a lot of time on social media.
I'm sure it mentally affects everybody, because social media is just a source of just self-doubt and,
yes,
deprecation and all that. So,
it's pretty interesting that we've come from a time back in like the early 2000s when someone like Jack Thompson was around, who was constantly advocating for more censorship in video games because he cited information, obviously bullshit information, that it caused violence.
Yeah.
GTA obviously being the big example.
Mortal
to now
Kombat.
Getting the stories that Mortal Kombat. To now getting stories like this one, which prove what we kind of already knew, even all the way back then, that it has a lot of beneficial effects. And this is just for your mental health as well. It's not even involving other people who I've heard stories of people who have grown up in ghettos and played video games as a way to escape that kind of environment. So even outside of those things, we're now actually seeing raw evidence that video games are just naturally can be good for you. Obviously, you should take care of yourself and not get so caught up in playing video games that you don't shower, you don't eat, you don't sleep properly.
Right.
But using it in a healthy amount is good.
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Or at least it appears to be good.
It appears to be good.
Now,
yeah.
we don't have this study isn't giving us hard numbers, which I think is fine, because we don't want to be having all these, children, being watched by scientists all day, every day for their entire lives. So it's just simple, like, hey, can we, use your kid to, answer a questionnaire once a year, in which they go, yeah, sure, why not? So that, cool that we got this much information. I think any more would probably be harmful to these children. But it's very fascinating to see just, okay, all of this can help. Obviously we live in a world where being active is not the priority, or having to go out and run around and stuff. So I think clearly, like, if your kid is like one of those who likes to go outside and who likes to, play sports or just kind of run around and be a kid and, climb shit and fall and break shit and, they're probably okay. They're probably fine. I think this is more to those type of children who are, maybe a little more introverted, maybe like to just kind of hang out and chill, maybe who, don't really like going outside or something, them wanting to sit in front of a video game for a few hours a day, probably not the worst thing for them.
No.
And
I know it said so in the article itself that this study I see is a little bit more important than other ones that have been done, because this one actually differentiated what type of screen time is being used. So other studies that found maybe opposite results didn't differentiate this. So, the social media one was the same as people playing video games. They conflated the two, even though there obviously are two different things that do two different things. They elicit two different responses.
Right.
So it seems like, obviously, like you said before, they didn't give us actual numbers to tell them what they found. But it seems like overall the benefits were noticeable.
It's also we're noting, they make a small point of it of like, hey, there's so many more factors that could go into this. Your socioeconomic status, how your parents raise you, is a big thing. This, I think, is just more of just kind of a, like a side thing of like, hey, it's not so much like people are quick to look for a scapegoat, and they'll take technology whenever they can because technology is the new rising thing that dramatically affects human behavior. So people are quick to point whenever something is wrong with quote unquote society today. They're quick to point to the technology and the screens. We're all on screens now. Well, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a matter of what activities you're using on those screens and how often you're doing it, and what is the child or what are people in general getting out of it. So, really interesting story. I think everyone should go and read this on their own. Science Daily. Boys who play video games have lower depression risk.
It was a very interesting article. I found that, and I just kept. I just read it at the end. You usually don't do that with this kind of stuff.
You don't?
No, I do not.
Doesn't matter. I feel like it should be, but okay.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the author of this article who put all of these quotes and shit together.
Well, it's generally the way this stuff is kind of done is it's someone who's looking at these studies and puts it in more layman's terms for us to understand, the common people to understand.
Right,
so
but who is that? Who's doing
They
that?
usually sometimes don't, tell you
Don't
who's
cite
doing
themselves?
it. Yeah, they usually don't. It could be. It's not the same as like traditional journalism that we usually use as sources for the show. So
interesting.
It's different.
Okay. Well, in that case, moving on, Connor. Games, not so bad for your mental health. But, Connor, not everyone has access to games. And you know what? Microsoft is doing something about that. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our third penny, my second and final penny of the day. And we're going to talk about Xbox advancing its accessibility guidelines. So, this is an article from Windows Central. Xbox doubles down on accessibility in gaming, pledging to support game developers. Where did I want to start in this? Because it starts with some nonsense about how games are, people's favorite thing to do or whatever. So over the years, accessibility has become increasingly important in game development to help bring games to as many people as possible. Xbox, especially, has been a massive advocate for better accessibility in gaming. Today, Microsoft and their gaming accessibility team announced updates today being, by the way, the 16th of February. This article is by Zachary Brody, by the way. Boddy, not Brody. Body? B-O-D-D-Y? Interesting. Today, Microsoft and their gaming accessibility team announced updates to their gaming accessibility efforts with a new program for game developers. In 2018, Xbox launched the excellent Xbox Adaptive Controller. The XAC allows players who might have difficulty using a standard controller to build customized setups that suit their needs. I remember when they showed this off at that E3. It was cool.
Yes, I did. Now I remember that.
In 2020, the Xbox launched the Xbox Accessibility Guidelines, a comprehensive series of best practices to drive accessibility in games forward and help game devs make their projects as accessible as possible. Today, Xbox announced that they're updating the XAGs with a ton of improvements to make them easier to use, easier to understand, and even more thorough for game devs. Improvements include clearer language, improved overviews, scoping questions and focus areas, educational background information, and guideline examples. However, beyond these crucial improvements to the XAGs, Microsoft is also launching an industry first, a platform-provided program that can test Xbox and PC games against the XAGs and provide game devs with feedbacks on how to improve their games. This includes screenshots, examples, reproduction steps, and information about why certain aspects of a title may not be accessible to gamers. Xbox's new program will also provide information and relevant links to accessibility, inclusivity, and technical documentation, industry experts, and non-profit accessibility organizations. Finally, gamers with disabilities are included in the testing program, so that every game tested against XAGs is also played by members of the gaming and disability community. These vital testers will also provide their own feedback and insight into what can be improved in games. It's always great to see accessibility. Okay, no, that's just a wrap up. Okay, so Connor, this is dope.
Yeah, I remember one thing that you've said on the show constantly, and you can see in the industry, is that gaming has had a big focus on ease of use. Whether that usually that translates to how quickly your games can load, how quickly you can just jump in and play your game.
Convenience for
gamers.
Don't take this the wrong way, but the stand, just for lack of a better term, the standard gamer.
Yes, the standard gamer. People who mostly don't.
I don't
have
want to say
disability.
normal, but
well, most people don't.
That implies other people are not normal.
Well, most people don't have disabilities. Is the issue, because that usually ends up leaving other people out. People who do have disabilities, and thankfully, this whole movement towards this more availability to play games and more access to games is now being included for people with disabilities, because Microsoft has led the charge for the longest time now.
Long time.
They have.
At least it lasts 3-4 years now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, their Xbox One, remember, they didn't really have any exclusives, so they really doubled down on how much their device could do. And this was one of those.
Those two things are I would argue not connected, but
well, I think it kind of is, because you had. I mean, you can stream things on here. You can Xbox Games Pass and all that kind of stuff.
But the idea that they're not focusing on exclusives is because they're focusing on accessibility for gamers with disabilities are not connected. For example, Connor, the last 3 big PlayStation games have driven forward accessibility more than any other game in the last couple of years. Last of Us 2, greatest example of that.
Mm-hmm.
This is less for with the accessibility controller aside. This is more just to push game dev studios, whether third party or first, to say, hey, this is important. You should look into this, and these are some things that you can do on the ground level to build towards this so that everybody can play your game.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard many stories of for example, Last of Us, I forget who said it. It was either one of the devs or Neil Druckmann, said, hey, yeah, all that accessibility thing, all the things we did for accessibility in that game, we really had to think about on the ground level. It wasn't something of we could build our game and then stick it in later. It was something you had to think about from the start, from square one, because otherwise you just don't have enough control over the systems in order to meet these standards, or meet these, not requirements, but meet these, levels of accessibility.
Yeah, goalposts to allow different people with differing levels of disabilities to play the game properly.
Exactly.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how more of this affects games in the future, because, like you said before, Last of Us was one of the biggest games to make accessibility a big thing.
Definitely a marquee title in that.
Yes. So now, going forward, I think we actually talked about the same thing before. This is just another way to incentivize developers to come up with better ways for people to play their games.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really do hope it becomes an industry standard, because, people who may not be able to, or people who may be confined to a wheelchair, or people who can't walk, or people who can't use their hands as well, gaming would be a great outlet for them. Unfortunately, gaming has evolved, with things such as the gamepad and how controllers have evolved over the years, can make it quite difficult for people to play games. And then the rise of Twitch shooters in the 2000s, some people, it's just impossible for them to move that fast and have the recognition or just not be able to physically do it. So it's great that hey, from the jump, we can do things and just make tweaks that really help these people enjoy the things that we love so much. Also, it's worth noting, some of these accessibility options make it really easy to get them trophies popping.
Does it really?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you're cheating.
Huh?
You're cheating.
I am.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't do it. I only do it for collectibles.
Oh, okay.
Collectibles.
Which just
be
redundant.
Just be scan the area. Oh, okay. This is a pickupable item because it popped up. Everything's gray boxed and only things you interact with are gold.
What game was that in?
That was in Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
It was in Last of Us 2. Still need to go back and get that platinum.
You hadn't gotten it?
No.
That'd be one of the first ones I think.
Well, I played it, and then I played not halfway, but a little less than halfway, and then I started that playthrough with my family. And then by the end of that, I was like, all right, I can take a break from this. I don't need to go through this again. Because even though I think the gameplay is great in that game, it's not not like the most fun game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's fun to be had, but it's not like...
It's also 20 hours. 20 hours is actually a pretty long game.
It's a long game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long game. Anyways, so, this is great. I hope to see Xbox continue this, and push this and be the leaders in this, and I hope the rest of the industry follows in spades.
I know that Sony I've never really heard Sony having any advancements on this. Obviously,
they do some stuff, but it's clear that like Xbox is just running away with it and saying, "Hey, this is what we need to do as an entire industry."
Yeah.
So, Sony's done some things more of like a game to game basis. They've done a couple of things, I think, with like their UI and stuff to make it easier to navigate and so forth. EA has done a couple of things. Ubisoft does some stuff with their games. I heard Watch Dogs Legions was a decent example of that.
Yeah, Valhalla apparently was as well. Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
It might have been.
It was nominated for an award.
Yeah, well, they had that category that they made this last year at the Game Awards for accessibility.
Yeah.
Which is a great category.
Yeah,
I love that. I hope that one sticks around. So, Connor,
Final penny.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, I gotta pull up my little time code sheet. There we go. All right. So, Connor, final penny of the day. Your second penny. We are gonna talk about the possibility of Silent Hill returning.
Yes.
Now, Silent Hill, Connor, storied video game horror franchise.
Yeah.
Got shut down by Konami a few years ago when Kojima wanted to make one, and then they fell apart. And
one of the most highly anticipated games at the time. And then just buzzkilled.
God, that game. We need that game, dude. Guillermo del Toro doing the art. Oh my God. What a shame. Anyways, so this week there were hints, Connor, that we got some Silent Hill coming.
Nothing outright confirmed for this story, by the way.
But it's enough dots to connect to where it's like, okay, something's happening.
And the fact that rumors started sprouting out after this, and they never bothered to crush it, kind of can also lead to that as well. Like,
Konami bothered to crush a few things.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and it's like one of those things that like, because you bothered to like delete a post. I think it was like the game composer tweeted something and he said, "Oh man, y'all should wait till you see what I have next coming up."
I saw that.
And then Konami was like, "Hey, delete that tweet." He
deleted it?
And then he deleted it. So it was like, well, why would you tell him to delete it? And this is the guy from the old Silent Hill games who composed all those music. So this is an article from VGC by Andy Robinson. Bloober Team hints it could be working on Silent Hill, but it's not the only one. The Medium developer, Bloober Team, has said it's working on an existing horror IP from, quote, a very famous gaming publisher, fueling speculation it could be reviving Konami's Silent Hill. Real quick, Medium, new game on Xbox. The Bloober Team, not a Xbox first-party studio, but heavily associated with Xbox. It's like Insomniac before the Insomniac purchase. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Like, they make games for PlayStation. Bloober makes games for Microsoft, even though Insomniac made Sunset Overdrive, but obviously that didn't kick off the way it probably should have. No. Also, The Medium. Connor, did you pay any attention to it?
Not at all. It's not it never had anything to grab me.
I feel like I should look into it. I feel like I should. I don't know.
Apparently,
the way people talk about it, it makes me go, well, that sounds like a game I would enjoy. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I should probably look at a trailer or something.
Go for it.
Anyways. Wow, I feel like we talked about The Medium before, like one of the early shows, like have. Xbox Showcase from when we started this show.
I mean, it never really. It probably was a showcase, and we just never really were interested by it at that point in time either. And
well, we must have talked about it at some point. We talked about every game.
Yeah.
But anyways, while the studio has not revealed the identity of the franchise it's working on, Bloober Team CEO Piotr, I'm so sorry. I don't know, bro. You're European. Told GI Biz he believed it would cause quite a stir once it's revealed. Quote, we've been working for more than a year on another gaming project, another horror IP, and we're doing this with a very famous gaming publisher, he said. I can't tell you who, I can't tell you what the project is, but I'm pretty sure when people realize we're working on it, they will be very excited. The comments have caused fans to speculate that the Polish developer could be working on Silent Hill, the Konami horror series that has reportedly been shopped around by the publisher in recent years. Earlier this month, YouTube channel The Great Debate even published an hour-long video presenting evidence that this could be the case, including comments from Silent Hill composer Akira Yamaoka? Yamaoka? Help me out here, bro. You're the Japanese dude.
Yamaoka, I think.
All right.
Yamaoka.
Yeah, you're freaking out too.
I mean, that's a weird pronunciation.
Claiming that he was working on a second project for Bloober, in addition to making music for the medium. However, VGC understands that Konami has already outsourced a Silent Hill project to a prominent Japanese developer with a reveal due this summer. That's what excites me.
That's what's exciting you, obviously, for a wonder why.
A couple reasons. If Bloober Team is also working on Silent Hill, something our sources were unable to confirm, then what that would mean that 2 franchise reboots are in the works, which is something that industry insiders have suggested could be Konami's intention. 2 people with knowledge of the Japanese publisher's plans told VGC that it had... Oh, I just had an idea. Told VGC that it had an originally approached Dark Pictures developer Supermassive to pitch a Silent Hill reboot. The Supermassive project was ultimately not signed, but the framework for that game evolved into the episodic Dark Pictures titles, which... Not the best games.
Apparently they're not. I mean,
what I hear around
Until
the blog.
Dawn was very good. And then,
no, wrong.
Was that not the Dark Pictures?
No.
The hell is the Dark Pictures?
Yeah, you're looking at the what is it called? Like Man of Medan or something?
That was the first one I thought in that anthology.
Yeah. Until Dawn came out way before that. Supermassive might be that studio, but it has nothing to do with the Dark Picture titles.
No, I think that is.
No, it's not. I'm telling you. Until Dawn has nothing to do with the Dark Picture.
No, I know. I was saying it's from the same developers.
Oh, you might be right.
Yeah.
Supermassive. I can't remember.
It is them.
It is Supermassive.
Yeah, Man of Medan is from that Dark Pictures anthology.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's why I thought.
But it's Until Dawn.
What? No, not Until Dawn.
Who made Until Dawn?
I was saying Until Dawn was good, but the Dark Pictures anthology, based off those kind of games, were not good.
Okay. Real quick, Google who made Until Dawn while I read the rest of this article. Konami's Japanese bosses are understood to have historically pushed back against most pitches to outsource their key game brands, which is a big reason why the Supermassive game wasn't greenlit. However, following the disappointing performance of recent in-house titles Metal Gear Survive and Contra Rogue Core, sources said that the company has become more willing to contract outside studios for its major franchises. In addition to Silent Hill, sources said that Konami also plans to work on Castlevania and Metal Gear Solid games via external companies, but any potential releases are still years away.
It is Supermassive.
That made Until Dawn?
Yeah. Same
Okay. Well, man, they hit it out the park with that first game, and then I guess it just fell apart since or something.
I guess so.
Because some people liked Man of Medan, but like wasn't like a favorite or whatever. And then from there, like they put out one last year, and everybody hated it.
Yeah, I remember Man of Medan surprisingly never got any coverage, though it looked good. And then the second one, I remember not hearing anything either.
Yeah. So, Connor, this is very exciting for a couple of different notes.
Now, I kind of want to speculate real quick.
Go ahead.
So obviously, it seems like the evidence...
We're going to be doing a lot of that.
Yeah. It seems like the evidence is obviously with Silent Hill. Everyone kind of is believing that's the path that things are taking.
Well, we got a Silent Hill game coming from whatever this Japanese studio is.
Yes. Which is why, with Blooper, what do you think else it could be? Because it is, apparently a popular horror franchise. Maybe one that we haven't seen in a while, and I can't think of what else it might be.
It could be quite a number of things. Thinking about it could be another Silent Hill, but I think making 2 Silent Hills is a little weird.
It is.
Especially
when you're trying to revive a franchise.
Yeah. So let's assume
kind of a weird jump.
Let's assume that it is a Konami title. In which case, my brain goes to with coming off the medium, which was using a lot of like dual worlds with the new loading thing. My brain goes to Castlevania.
Oh, Castlevania.
And they put just a complete horror twist on Castlevania. However, they do say we're working on another gaming project, another horror IP. Doing this with a very famous gaming publisher. So this could really be fucking anything under the moon. Like could be a Resident Evil title, for all I know.
I thought for a second it might have been a Fatal Frame, but that's not.
It could be Killer 7. It could be fucking, I don't know, whatever you want. But the whole thing about how Akira Yamaoka tweeting about how hey he's working on another game after the medium with these guys and he's very excited about it, and then Konami had that shut down. Mm-hmm. All right, so it's probably Silent Hill.
Yes.
So if we do get 2 Silent Hill games, that's very, very cool. Very excited to hear that. If sometimes these little trickles of information, wires get crossed. We think it's one thing, it actually turns out to be another. So this thing that they've shopped around to another Japanese studio, it may not be Silent Hill, it might be Castlevania, it might be Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid rumors popping up left and right. I didn't look too much into it because at this point I don't care. Just show me if you have it, or just shut the fuck up about it. So maybe it's Metal Gear coming around doing something. Is Blue Point Japanese?
I do not know. Let me check. I don't think they are.
I don't think they are either. I want to say they're Austin based. Austin, Texas.
I think you're right, actually. For some reason, it goes right to a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
When I would type that in.
I want to say they're Austin, Texas, but I could be wrong. So just to get anything out of these franchises is super exciting because all of them are so fucking Austin. Nailed it, man. I know my shit. I need to stop doubting myself. Except that I was wrong about Supermassive. But moving on. So yeah, these could all be really, really cool. Now, Connor, I want to dive deep into this Japanese studio.
I wonder why.
Oh, it could be so good. So we have a Silent Hill game. Rumored Silent Hill game. Assuming Silent Hill. Shipped out to another prominent Japanese studio. Now, there's a lot of Japanese studios we could talk to.
From Software.
Yeah. That I would love to see a From Software fucking anything.
Yeah.
Like with a known IP. I don't think they will. That doesn't seem to be their style.
It doesn't seem like it would be, no. It could be Platinum Games. I could see them potentially doing that as well.
We could see that. I wouldn't mind a Platinum Games like Castlevania game or a Rogue not Rogue Company. What is it called? Fucking Contra. I wouldn't mind a Platinum Games Contra game. That sounds kind of interesting. Make it Bayonetta except sweaty dudes. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, put some man meat in there.
But when you look at Silent Hill, suddenly your options drop dramatically. Could be Capcom. Could be the guys who are on this new wave of Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Just saying, hey, do that, but Silent Hill. Okay.
Trying to ride the hype of those Resident Evil games.
Yeah, that would make sense to me. I would play one of those. The clear gameplay and atmosphere building of these last few Resident Evil titles, on top of just weird iconography and weird character designs and weird Silent Hill gets weird. Pyramid Head. Just look at that alone. It's like, man, that's fucking weird to look at. So those two, that sounds like a perfect mix to me. Connor,
say it, Tavin.
Could it be coming back?
Say it.
Are we getting our Hideo Kojima Silent Hill game?
You see, the way I see it...
The answer is no, but go ahead.
The reason why it could be no, I'm not going to say it's absolutely no, is because Konami did notoriously cut Kojima from Konami. And there was the whole spat where he couldn't, present at the award ceremony because they had, canceled him. It was a really weird situation. They canceled the original Silent Hill. Mm-hmm. I could see Konami because they're greedy. That's seems to be their main motivator for why they do things. And even though they had a falling out with Kojima, I could see them kind of crawling back to him and saying, "Hey, people wanted that Silent Hill game, and now you're independent, so it's not like you have to work. Like we're not going to be like overbearing towards you. And you can maybe throw us a little bone, make this game, get us both a little bit of money. You want to make it, and." Then that leaves the problem of, would Hideo Kojima even say yes to that? Because I can understand working on a project, getting really amped up for it, and then it being just taken out from under him. And two of the people that he worked closely with, Guillermo del Toro and the actor's name, Norman Reedus, would go on to help him make Death Stranding, his first game that he made with his new studio.
Well, del Toro just appearing in Death Stranding. Not doing the creative vision stuff that he would have done with Silent Hill.
No, but I can understand him... either wanting to continue that because he now has a better chance to do it without being as burdened by Konami as he was when he was working directly under them without his own studio. But I can also see him just being so disenfranchised with what happened to him that he could just say, I don't want to do it. If he even was approached for it in the first place.
I mean, if I'm Kojima, I make my own horror franchise at this point. And I just do whatever I want to do.
Yeah,
so.
you that too. He could do that as well.
Maybe he does want to go to Silent Hill. Maybe that's something he really wanted to do. I assume it was just like hey, Silent Hill has been dormant for a while. Kojima, you're about to release Metal Gear Solid 5. We've got, this PT demo that you've directed that is really good. Let's release it and let's announce it and then have all that. And then, what happened. Mm-hmm. So, or let's take this demo that you've created to pitch a horror game and make it Silent Hills. Because we already have this existing franchise. Why make another one? So, to me, if I'm Kojima, I just make whatever game I wanted to make, and then I call it whatever I want to call it, and I make it whatever I want to make it, and not pigeonhole myself into what is Silent Hills. That's me.
Well, see, that's the issue with it. Like, all of this, what we've said, that's even assuming that it is potentially Kojima Productions that's making it.
Yeah, which I don't think it is. I don't think either party wants anything to do with each other.
That was the other thing I was going to go into, because there's obviously some vitriol there. Now,
Yeah.
would they put it aside for a video game? You know,
I think the only way we see those two names on a box again is for a Metal Gear Solid 1 remake.
Mm-hmm.
And even then it has to be heralded by a studio that we can trust, like a Blue Point, like a fucking, I don't know, anybody. But like a Blue Point Games.
Please give me Metal Gear Solid 1. Is that what you're saying? Please give me it, please. I want it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want it.
Please
I want
give me
it.
I don't care who makes it. Just give me it.
I want it. I want it. I want Phil to play it, and I want him to be like, yeah, this is a good game.
Yeah, it's a game that I already played. Just looks better.
Oh, come on. We both know they do way more than that.
What if they didn't, though? What if they did the bare minimum? Just because they were like, money?
I would hate that.
He's like,
I would hate that so much.
The monkey paw curls.
I don't even know what that means. But, anyways, very interesting. Something they say due to reveal this summer. I'll believe it when I see it. All of this could go up in smoke any moment. Just because we've caught on to it, Konami could be like, well, now we don't want to tell you anymore.
Yeah.
So,
they're fickle. They're very fickle.
Very fickle, those there at Konami. So, but, Connor, again, we'll just have to wait and see. But you know what we don't have to wait and see, Connor?
What games we've been playing?
Is what games we've been playing. So, I think we both had quite a busy week. We had a historic snowfall in Texas, so we were all forced into our homes to just kind of, sit around and wait for all of that to end. You and I were both lucky, and which we were able to keep power and for the most part keep water.
Yeah. We both had people at our places.
Yeah, we were housing
power
people who were having a tough time. But we were left with about a week of just kind of sitting around, so we had a lot of time to play video games.
We did.
Connor, do you want to start a shot?
I will.
Okay.
Well, so the person that I had over at my house was my friend Spencer.
Sure.
And we had found out about a game a little while ago from a YouTuber called Outward. It was made by a German company.
Outward?
Outward, yes. This game is god-awful. Okay, so it's an RPG game, right?
Okay.
There's no leveling system. So all you're doing is finding better equipment to deal with opponents that beginning game opponents could easily kill you.
It's a 7 out of 10 on Steam.
4
out of 10 on PC games.
Yeah, because here's the thing about the game. It's a terrible game, but it has co-op. Split-screen co-op.
Oh.
Very, very unique for the kind of game it is. And we played it, and we had fun. We still had fun. It was because, we had to jank the game as much as possible to try and get through combat encounters.
Right.
Because combat is so stiff and so difficult, and there is no guiding direction to tell you where to go or how to get better.
5.0 from IGN.
Yes.
Does that sound about right to you? 5.0?
Yeah, because it has... Now, single player, that would be like a 3. It would be god-awful. It'd be terrible.
It's like how Resident Evil 5 is probably like a 6, but because we played together, it gets bumped up to like a 7 or an 8.
Yes, it's exactly that. And, there's no fast travel either, so it's a lot, and it's a big world, and it's running, it's got food systems.
What is it, 2010? What are you doing?
Funny you should say that, because we both agreed that if we played this game back in the day, when we didn't have many options for games were more commonly bad, you
well, also, like, just open world quality of life things weren't as well established.
No, they were not. But despite those things, if we had played this back in the day, we would look on it 8 years from now and say, do you remember Outward? That was a fucking amazing game. That was so great.
Would we?
We would.
There's a lot of games we played back in the day that we can look back on now and be like, there's no way
Exactly, which is why if someone brought up, Outward sucks, it's terrible, we'd say, no, it was amazing. We traveled around, we fought people, we had to work together, we cast magic, and it was all cool. Obviously, it wasn't, but we would build it up. It's a game you would build up in your mind if you played it while you were a child. Doesn't make it not good. Doesn't make it good. Still makes it bad.
Now that you've developed taste.
Yes. Now that we know what's good and what's bad, and because we have options.
So outward stiff RPG. Is it melee focused, magic focused, whatever you want focused?
It's melee focused until you do a convoluted way to get access to magic, which Spencer decided to do.
Ugh.
And the way that magic works is that you reach a group of people that can allow you to use magic, and you have to trade off health and stamina to get magic.
What?
Yeah, and Spencer just said, fuck it, I'm going to do everything. Just going to do it all magic. Everything. So I barely know health at all.
It sounds like you're actively making yourself worse to do something that's not even that great.
Well, we had heard the magic was really unique and really cool and really powerful.
Oh.
And it seems like it is, but it's such a complicated way to get magic. Like magic spells after the fact and to use them in the first place.
Yeah.
That we would go into encounters and he would get taken out in 2 hits. And it would be a matter of me just running back, reviving him, trying to deal with the opponent together, who I couldn't take on my own. Could not at all. And it just turned into this clusterfuck of stuff because the system of how you get magic was so stupid. Man, this game was terrible. Okay. I loved it. Loved playing it.
Did you? You loved playing it?
Yeah. Well, for the most part. Every now and then, it was like, okay.
But you're not revisiting this game.
If Spencer's over again, totally. Yeah. I will pick it up again. No big deal. But that's what I...
This game is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll play it.
Yeah, I'll play it. It's one of the games I played. I jumped back on Hades. I was telling you about this a while ago. I kind of misunderstood that there were as many runs as there were, and I thought I was nearing the end. So I was initially going to take it slow, build my relationship with characters, because that's an element of the game that I like. Come to find out that I actually have a lot more to go. So
the game actually, like, if you build too much, the game actively stops you from building relationships.
Which I've reached.
Yeah.
Because when I realized that...
Until you beat Hades a few more times.
Yes. And I beat him a couple times since then, 3 times.
Because that's what happened until the first time I beat him, is everything had stopped. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I need to go beat Hades before I can talk to Meg again.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Yeah. That's exactly what I encountered just a couple days ago. So I'm, back on that grind trying to play it.
Cool.
Still a great game.
Hades, phenomenal game.
Very, very good game. The other thing that I've been playing is the Guilty Gear Strive beta. Obviously, I've been getting into fighting games through Guilty Gear pretty recently, and coincidentally, right when the new game was, on its way here in April now. But I downloaded the beta. I didn't play it for like a day and a half, which is lucky because the beta would not work for a day and a half.
I saw some of this on Twitter.
Had some issues. It's fixed now. You can go into training mode, try out characters.
Okay, cool.
A lot of my hours since it's come out has been spent trying to find which character I want to play, because the one that I had played in the last Guilty Gear game, Guilty Gear Revelator Xrd 2? I think it has 2 in there somewhere.
It does not.
No, it's Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator 2. Rev 2
It has
short.
2 subtitles and a number?
Because this is like an additional version of a game that had come out before, called Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator.
I hate that shit so much.
Oh, I know, but this one's Guilty Gear Strive. Easy to remember now. But I've been trying to find out which character I wanted to play,
2
getting a
subtitles
feeling for the
and
game.
number.
Yes. Visuals are absolutely amazing. One of the best looking fighting game I played up until now.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, it is amazing. I mean, Arc Systems Works, who make the game, they're very well known for making their games look very, very pretty. Now, if you don't like...
How many hours have you put into this beta so far?
There's no hour count, but let's see.
Guessing?
Good, like 5 hours.
5 hours?
Yeah,
okay.
Training pretty much entirely.
Sure.
Finding what I want to do. Yeah, it looks beautiful. The characters play really smooth. The abilities that you can use, or the specials that you can use, as they're called in the fighting games, look very nice. The game just looks great.
How much advancement is it in this game as opposed to the last game?
Well, characters play completely different.
Okay.
So there's not really... they obviously have certain traits that have existed throughout the entirety of the Guilty Gear franchise that are still there, such as the main character, Soul's Gunflame, which is a fire projectile that goes along the ground. But for the most part, a friend that I have who plays that character is now having to learn the character over again because they're different from their past game's counterpart.
Interesting.
And the game itself, like I said before, the moves come out really nice. The input of the commands that you have to do are pretty seamless. They're not very difficult to pull off, because the big thing that they focused on with this game is to try and make it accessible to new players. So they have in the what it tells you what each move does. It tells you what exactly the move does, when's the good time to use it, shows you a little clip of the animation playing out. So it's very, very good for new players to jump in at this starting point, not only to Guilty Gear, but to potentially fighting games going forward. But I'm having tons of fun with it. Beta's ending tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Going to play with some people later on today. It's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Okay.
And people love it too. People have had a very good positive reaction to it.
Lovely. Have you been playing anything else?
No, but I will. I just recently bought Valheim, so I'll be playing that pretty recently.
Okay.
Pretty soon.
Connor, let's rewind the clocks 7 days to last week after we finished this podcast. And we wrapped it up.
I thought to myself, I was going to say Valheim. I was like, I think there's something else.
I played something else this week.
Something with someone in this room.
Yes, sir.
It began my playthrough of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. I always get the subtitle.
Yes, sir.
But my thoughts on that game so far.
Yes, sir.
Gameplay's stiff.
It is.
It is very stiff.
It's very stiff.
It's a short game, as you told me. And
yeah, 8 hours.
That stiff gameplay would really start. Like if this was going to be like a 15-hour game, I can imagine me just.
Dude, that last third. Wait till we get to that last third of that game.
Really? Okay. So that's the biggest downside of the game. It's a good game so far. I'm not crazy about it. It's not like Resident Evil 2, where I had an amazing time with that game.
Yeah,
it was great the entire way through.
100%.
Yeah. The common enemies in the game are very lazy. They're not fun to fight. They're just there's not much there to admire about them.
We haven't gotten in our play. Oh, we've seen one variant of the original, the one with the big arm.
Yes, we've seen one. Oh, there's one more variant. I think
there's a few more variants.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. I don't think they're gonna get better. But
for context, we have beaten the first real boss in Jack Baker. The chainsaw and the running around the brick column. That's where we stopped.
The boss fight was pretty fun. It was fun.
Solid boss fight.
Messed up there. Oh no, did it mess up? No. Inventory was a little bit annoying because during the boss fight, there's a point where you have to grab a chainsaw.
Yeah.
And it wasn't working. We were kind of running around like, what do you do? Turns out I didn't have an item in the slot. And for a temporary weapon for that one area, it was like, can't you just pick it up?
Yeah, just pick it up.
Yeah.
I agree with you. And maybe it was like a thing of like, oh, hey, we want you to be able to quick select and swap through your things still.
Yeah.
So that you can pull out your shotgun at any time. But you can't win that way. You have to get him with the chainsaw. So
not to mention,
just as soon as you get the chainsaw, that's what you're going to use.
And you didn't even have to include it in your gameplay. You didn't even include it in the inventory because by this point I had the shotgun and the pistol.
Yeah.
But there's two other analog buttons that the chainsaw could have only been designated to that. And
your knife takes up one of those spots too.
Well, then there would have been at least one more by that point in the game. So I could have just
used that.
Been able to do that, but I couldn't. So. And that's kind of an issue with the inventory system, not the boss fight.
Sure, yeah, it's stiff for inventory. I think it works fine. It doesn't work so well in that moment.
No, it does not. But the atmosphere of the game, very creepy.
Very creepy.
Dirty. Very dirty.
Filthy.
Filthy. What's going to be funny going from that to this immaculate mansion. Well, actually, you're going to have a dirty village as well.
I don't know about that. Yeah,
the village part's going to be kind of dirty, but the Bakers are pretty scary. They're not. Funny enough, they're not as scary. Actually,
I think they're just so unsettling and uncomfortable.
They are.
I don't want to be around you.
Mr. X isn't as scary, I don't think, actually. Now, I think the way that
I don't think Mr. X is scary.
But I think so. Because I have a thing when it comes to characters, the enemies that follow you constantly, you can't kill them. It scares me.
Sure.
To varying degrees, like the Regenerator in Dead Space that I played recently, after a while I was like, this guy's a pushover. He's not really a big idea. But someone like
oh, you completed Dead Space, by the way. We forgot to talk about that, but whatever.
I did. I
finished it.
Beat that. I'll go past that.
Yeah.
But the Bakers themselves are unsettling. They have really nice jump scares that aren't scripted. When you're just walking down the hallway and they just, well, hey there, Sonny. That scares the shit out of me. Like, fucking Christ. That's why they're scary.
You're looking at a thing, you're digging through your inventory, and then all of a sudden you hear, found you! And you're like, fuck, where is he?
Which that personality makes him scarier than Mr. X.
You think?
Even if the footsteps aren't as haunting with Mr. X.
I find him
as haunting as Mr. X.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That gimmick of just an impossible to kill enemy just doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I just find it kind of boring.
Yeah, that's it's kind of I know we differentiate that with that and lickers, which terrify you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You have a creepy ass design and you kill me real quick, but I can fight you, but fighting you comes at a cost. That's scary. Now I gotta weigh options. I have options and I have to weigh them.
Yeah, I see what the core of it is.
Yeah.
Okay. But the Bakers are scary. They're obviously the focal point of the game. I'm interested in the story, to be honest. Everything is obviously given to you piece by piece. You don't really know the full story.
Yeah.
Everything will come together in the end.
Before we played last week, to my memory, I was like, yeah, the story is okay, it's fine. And then as soon as we got in and I started seeing all those details come back in and remembering some of the story beats and some of the twists that are coming later down the line, I was like, oh, wait, no, this story is actually a little cooler than I remember it being.
Which, do you hope that translates to Village?
Yeah.
Is that level of
I don't
complexity?
I don't think it will. I don't think it'll be super complex. It might be. Who knows?
Yeah. Could surprise you.
But yeah, like, I'll say, like, within the first hour and a half, 2 hours, probably not even that much, probably just the first hour, they give you all the details you need to figure out the entire game.
Yeah.
And just because you don't have the context and you don't know what's happening, you see all of those pieces and you go, I don't know what the fuck that means.
Yeah. They're almost like they're played off as just like unsettling aspects to the atmosphere, which is what I got from it. But you were saying to the next to me, there you go. Realization hit you. Well, I'm just like, I'm trying to get the shotgun, trying to manage my inventory.
Also, it just reminds me, how the fuck does that grandma get around, bro? She goes up and down these staircases, no problem. She's in a wheelchair.
I don't think she's
like decrepit.
She's not a boss fight, is she?
Well, why would I tell you?
You wouldn't tell me that, but she doesn't seem like she is. She's a dumb old bitch. I don't know what she can do. I do like her company though, because she's obviously fine with you. She's not like, she doesn't even seem evil. So I'm like, hey, Granny, how you doing? She's never scary. Just like, unless she jumps out at me at one point.
There is one moment where I remember in my first playthrough turning a corner. It's like a dark hallway, and she was there, and I said, "Why are you here? You shouldn't be here. Why are you here?" Was it
already?
I don't think you've come across it yet.
She was in a hallway at one point.
Yeah, you've seen her a couple of times, but there was one specific moment where, like, I was in the darkness. I had my flashlight out, and I turned, and she was right in my face, sitting in her chair, of course. And I said, "No, you shouldn't be here.
Go.
Anyways, so Resident Evil 7 overall, cool.
It's a cool game. It's a cool game. I'm having fun with it.
Yeah. I think I feel about the same. Where like I'm like, okay, yeah, it's good. We have to remember Resident Evil 7 in context of when it came out and what it meant to Resident Evil as a franchise.
It revitalized it. At the beginning.
It basically saved that franchise. And overall, it's just a fine game. The fact that it even hit that and it brought back survival horror in a mainstream way. It's just and being the key bit to be like, okay, this Resident Evil 2 remake is going to work. Like, and where we plan to take this franchise forward is going to work. We just have to commit. So, yeah, and it's why I can't wait, because you can feel, like, if you look a little too closely, you can feel the budget of Resident Evil 7. Obviously not as high as some of the other Resident Evil titles. And it's why I'm personally super, super excited for Resident Evil 8, because I assume that budget will be there.
It looks like it is. I mean, like, one of the things you pointed out, and I took notice of after you did, was in the beginning sequence when you're outside and it's brightly lit and you can see distances and stuff like that. It doesn't look good.
Oh, it's ugly.
No, it doesn't look good.
Oh, it's ugly.
From what we've seen from Village, you have more of that kind of environment.
Yeah.
It looked good. It looked good so far.
Or it all takes place at night, too. Or, like, foggy. It's all foggy.
That is true,
You can't look at the detail. When it's just, like, bright, like, oh, hey, here's our bayou, and it's, like, the leaf textures, like, look like PNGs, like, ugh.
Though I have to give credit to that opening sequence that looked amazing. It looked really, really good.
But I almost don't believe it was. I almost think it's like some FMV footage or something.
It could be, but it looked. It impressed me when I saw it, which was.
And then as soon as you go to gameplay, you're like, ugh.
Yeah. Oh, now we're in the game.
So, Resident Evil 7, great. Are we gonna continue this adventure at some point?
Totally.
I assume
totally.
today.
I can't do it today.
No.
I'll talk to you later, but
some other time.
I totally would be down for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this would have been the point. As the plan was going to be that we would have brought Phil in, and we would have done our full review of Kingdom Hearts 1, specifically 1.5 Final Mix, whatever the fuck, which you can watch me play for the first time over at twitch.tv/2pennygames for our series Hype, Have You Ever Played? But that premieres Tuesdays, 1 p.m. till like 9 or 10 o'clock, whenever we find a good stopping point. But Phil fell victim, and we do it at his place, fell victim to power outages from this last week, and my internet was so spotty, we couldn't make it makeshift here at my place anyway. So, we didn't get to Kingdom Hearts this last week, so I didn't finish Kingdom Hearts. I will be doing it this week, so expect Phil for next week's episode. Hopefully.
Might I just say, Tavin?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that you had to miss playing it this week. I'm so sorry.
Are you? I don't know where you're taking this.
I know you feel bad about missing it.
Oh,
You wanted to play it. So
Oh, that I missed the show, or that I missed? Because I'm so excited to get back to this game. Yeah, you're right, Connor. I'm so excited to get back to Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Final Mix.
Say you're excited.
I just did. I'm
Say
excited.
it again.
I'm excited to get back and finish Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Final Mix. Anyways,
What have you actually been playing?
but I've had plenty of time this week to play some other shit. So, I finished Persona 5 Royal. Finally got my platinum. 210 hours, Connor.
Yep.
More than I would have liked.
Congratulations. Oh, that's an amazing game. You should be privileged
It's a really good game.
that you played 210 hours.
It's a really good game. I like it a lot. So last week I had hinted that there are some mechanics and some game twists that are straight up Final Fantasy VII. And while that remains true, those moments are still there, and they still are that. The final boss is straight up Metal Gear Solid 4.
So it's combining some games.
It's straight up just two people just punching each other.
I'm curious as who it is. Huh.
You don't know.
I don't know.
I got what I think is the true ending. I didn't do any research, but it felt like a true ending to me, and I thought it was fine. I was like, all right, it's fine. I didn't think the original ending was that great, and this new ending, I don't think it's that great either. So, it's fine. It's like, all right, cool. I don't think it hits the emotional notes that the Persona 4 Golden ending hits. And I don't even think I got the true ending for that. So yeah, overall, what am I going to do? I'm going to beat the same drum I've been beating for the last year. Persona 5, really good. Not as good as P4. Worth playing. Looks great. Style, music, all that. Phenomenal.
Maybe I'll play Royal someday.
Yeah, you should do it. It's a lot of time.
It is, which is one of the reasons why I kind of fell off of it.
Well, this week would have been a great week to do it, Connor. You had a lot of time.
Tavin, I was playing Outward.
Yeah.
I was playing more important things, Tavin.
Anyways, so after I beat Persona 5 like Tuesday or something. So then I was like, all right, well, what am I going to do now? I got all this time. I jumped back into some Ghost of Tsushima. Finally made it to Act 3. I'm going to continue that experience because I'm having a really, really great time playing that. It's just really refreshing to have like a fun like open world combat game where I'm just kind of dicing foes up after playing so much Persona and playing a terrible action game like Kingdom Hearts.
You said you were excited to go back to it.
To finish it so that I can be done. But other than that, Connor, I've been playing one new game, Connor. It's very exciting, Connor. Are you ready, Connor?
No.
I've been playing Lego Marvel's Avengers.
I fucking knew it was something stupid. And I was like, what dumb thing is he going to pull out of some... I didn't know what it was at all. I had no indication. Just like, I knew it was going to be stupid. Okay? How is that?
It's fine. It's a Lego game.
Yeah. It's not as good as Lego Star Wars.
No, it's not.
So how much did that cost you?
It was like $5. It was on deal.
No skin off your back.
Huh?
No skin off your back.
I was like, I'll get a. It's a fun little game. I'll get an easy platinum. I played for about an hour to 2 hours or whatever. This is what I thought this was. I thought this was Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, which is like an actual like open world Lego game, and you can play as a bunch of heroes. No, this is Marvel Avengers. So this is like MCU stuff. So it's like jumping around into different MCU movies.
Oh, okay.
I think the latest of which being Age of Ultron, because it's like a 2014, 2015 game, something like that.
And they're not going to make any more.
No, I don't imagine they will. I think this is the only one they made. So yeah, it was like the first level was the opener for Age of Ultron, and then it jumped into Avengers, and then I know Captain America, the first one. What is it called? The first Avenger.
Yeah.
Is in there somewhere too. So yeah, I played the first couple of opening missions, and I was like, okay, this is a Lego game. It's the most recent Lego game I played was Star Wars: The Force Awakens, which is better because the presentation is so much higher. They're just
didn't Lego Star Wars at some point like change up how they like presented their games?
Yes,
the presentation.
Lego in general.
When did that start? When was the start for that?
So I don't know, man. A long time ago.
It was. Okay.
I don't know. I don't play these games regular enough to tell you. Like
you seem like you do.
I don't. I play the Lego Star Wars games, and then now I'm playing the Marvel Avengers ones, and that's about it. I played Lego Batman, the first one back in the day. I think that's about it. I played the opening hours of Lego Indiana Jones. I didn't like it, and I turned it off.
Oh. The only one I would play is Lord of the Rings.
I think I played one of the Harry Potter ones for like an hour.
Jesus, there's a lot of these.
Yeah, they make a lot of these games.
I guess they're easy to make. And you already have like the framework for
It's a
generating the framework.
2-decade-old franchise, Connor. They can make a lot of games in 2 decades.
I always forget that.
Yeah.
It's been around so long, and it seems like it would have like by now been like, okay, in the market that's going on right now, it's just not going to be as viable as it was back in the day.
No, they still work. They're fine. They're good kids games.
Yeah,
they're good kids games. I think they're better than most kids games.
Mm-hmm.
So, I like this. Who knows if I'll continue? If I do, it'll be to get the platinum. But Ghost of Tsushima is just way better. So I'm definitely gonna be finishing Ghost of Tsushima if and when I have the time.
Yeah, I think we should finish that too.
It's good.
Yeah, it's
good.
Great. Yeah.
I was not expecting how good the story to get, because I remember one of my, not complaints, but I just felt like the story was a little bland in the first half of that game. I was like, it's a little bland. I can kind of see where it's going. But now that like we're hitting the beats that I knew were coming, it's pulled off in a way that I'm like, oh fuck, this is really emotional and engaging, and I'm really into this. So I'm very excited. I've completed a couple of the side character arcs. They're good. They're good arcs. I like them. This is something everybody knew, you know? So, other than that, Connor, that's about it for me on what I've been playing this week. Please remember to catch us Tuesday, 1 p.m., twitch.tv/2pennygames. Me and Phil banging out Kingdom Hearts. I believe we're going to be starting Metal Gear Solid 2. And we're just going to be just jumping straight into that. It's going to be a lot of good times, a lot of laughs, a lot of sitting around. Me and Phil, we order some food. We eat some food. We have Chicken Express sometimes. Yeah. We have Subway sometimes. Or not Subway. Papa John's? Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. Well, yeah. We have Papa John's sometimes for pizza. What is the other one? No. What is the other one?
Jimmy John's.
What's the other one? What is the one we had? We had when
Mr. Jim's.
Whatever. We have sandwiches. We have chicken.
Jimmy John's. Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's. Yeah. That's what we eat. Yeah. There it is. It's driving me crazy. Anyways. Yeah. Come catch us. Hype. Have you ever played? Tuesdays, 1 p.m. Twitch.tv/2pennygames. But until then, Connor, that will be it for episode 31 of the 2 Pennies Games Cast. I'll remind y'all, we do this show every week, Monday, 8 a.m. YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple's on the way. You know, we're trying to be where the people are. Wherever you want it, we're gonna try our best and be there. I think Amazon Kindle. I don't know why, but I think we're on there.
It's good.
I don't know why, I don't know how, but I think we're on there.
Good job,
I guess.
Kindle?
I don't know. We're there though. I saw it. I pulled up a link like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, "Why are we here?" And I don't know. I don't remember signing up. I don't remember registering, but I think we're there. So there we go. I don't know. We're definitely on Google, definitely on Spotify, definitely on SoundCloud, definitely on YouTube. So
catch us anywhere.
Catch us there, not anywhere, just there. You know,
anywhere.
We could be on.
We
could be on iHeart. We could be on fucking. I think there's one called Blitz or something. We could be on Pandora. We're not. We're on those.
Follow us.
Anyways, until then, have a great rest of your week. And Connor, say bye to the people.
See ya.